This show is intended to help listeners understand the new opportunities that are now available to college and high school athletes as it relates to name, image, and likeness. The information contained in this show is only meant for educational purposes and is not meant to be legal advice or to establish an attorney-client relationship. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Court to Court with the Esquire Coach. I'm your host, Cassandra Ramsey, and I'm excited to get into some more college sports news with you all today. So today, we're going to talk about a Q&A that the NCAA recently shared with its member institutions regarding the House settlement. And we're also going to address whether or not if we may see a college union forming for college athletes that has been requested by the plaintiffs in the House settlement. So let's get into it. So I have talked at length on this show about the historic House settlement that may be coming to college athletics if it is approved by the district court judge on April 7th at the fairness hearing. Although the settlement is historic, it does not address all remaining issues in college sports. Specifically, it does not address the issue of employment for college athletes, and it also does not address the issue of unionization. So we have some cases regarding the issues of employment, Johnson versus NCAA, which is questioning whether college athletes should be considered employees under the Fair Labor Standards Act. And then we have a case at Dartmouth and one at USC where there's a petition before the National Labor Relations Board to deem college athletes as employees under the National Labor Relations Act. So along with the conversation of employment comes unionization. Some of the named plaintiffs in the House settlement recently wrote a letter to the judge presiding over the case requesting that college athletes be allowed to form a union. Many believe that the next step for college athletes' rights is a system of unionization or maybe even some form of quasi-unionization. And the class representatives in the House case think the same thing, as Class Representative Grant House, Sidonia Prince, and Naya Harrison recently sent a letter to Judge Claudia Wilkin, who is presiding over the House settlement case. In the letter, the class representatives acknowledged that the House settlement is a significant step forward for college athletics, but that there remains a critical need for structural changes to protect athletes and to prevent the failures of the past. They claim that college athletes will need independent representation to standardize NIL compensation contracts that they will enter with their university, to establish equitable minimum payments, and to provide health protection and create an ecosystem where athletes can thrive. They suggest that an entity called athletes.org is the solution to fill this gap. What is athletes.org? Athletes.org is an organization that markets itself as the Players Association for College Athletes. On their website, the organization claims to empower their member athletes by amplifying their voices, providing them with free, on-demand support for the key decisions in their lives, and maximizing their income in innovative ways. In their letter, the class representatives highlight the fact that Athlete.org has nearly 4,000 college athlete members, assists their members with navigating critical issues like reviewing NIL agreements, agent verification, and provides opportunities for athletes' voices to be heard. The class representatives claimed that the student-athlete advisory committees lack the resources, authority, and independence and inclusion to truly represent college athletes on pressing issues. They claim that athletes.org provides the infrastructure to offer a collective voice, legal guidance, and the resources needed to address future challenges. This is an interesting development here, as a few of the named plaintiffs in the case have written to the judge asking to be able to form a union. So that's a unique set of circumstances in and of itself. And it's interesting that they posit that athletes.org should be the entity to do it. So what do you guys think? Do you think that it should just kind of be chosen by these few individuals who were the named plaintiffs in the case, that it's going to be athletes.org? Do you think that the greater college athletic body should have a say in who is going to represent them in an organization like a players union and have a vote on who that entity should be? Let me know what you guys think. Even though the House settlement has not been approved yet, that does not stop colleges and universities and the NCAA from taking steps to prepare for a college athletic world post-House settlement. In fact, it was reported earlier in the football season that the University of Tennessee was placing a talent fee on their tickets to help pay athletes as part of its plan to prepare for the new revenue sharing model that would be allowed under the House settlement. So as schools begin to prepare, the NCAA has sent a Q&A to their members earlier this month regarding the impending settlement. The goal of the Q&A was to provide guidance to the Division I membership on the status of the House settlement and its potential impact on the enforcement of Division I bylaws. The Q&A clarifies that each Division I institution may decide whether and how much of any benefit to provide its athletes. It also states that conferences may set rules or guidelines for its members on the provision of additional benefits as long as those rules are guidelines and are set independently and not by agreement with any other conference. So the reason why they put that in there is because they want to avoid any issues of another antitrust lawsuit regarding any guidelines that they may make. So it has to be clear that the schools and conferences have not agreed to place any limits on anything, or if not, then they open up themselves back for an antitrust violation. The Q&A also states that all Division I athletes will be required to report any NIL deal with a total value of $600 or more, regardless to if their school provides any of the new benefits allowed under the settlement. So this means that a school can't get away from this reporting requirement by saying like, oh, we don't do revenue sharing, or, we haven't made any other changes that are allowed under the House settlement. So therefore, our athletes shouldn't be required to report their NIL deals. No, if the House settlement is approved, this will be a blanket requirement. The Q&A also says that NIL deals with payments occurring after July 1st, 2025 will be subject to this reporting requirement, and any new agreement will be subject to this reporting requirement after the settlement is approved, which could happen as early as April 7, 2025. If a college or university does not opt in to the settlement initially, the institution will have the option to opt into the settlement at any point during the 10-year period. So the focus of this Q&A was basically for the NCAA member colleges or universities, and the NCAA stated that a Q&A for the athletes would be soon to follow. Let's get into some NIL news. We've seen a trend developing recently amongst coaches and donations for NIL efforts at their schools. So first we have Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State University. After a 3-9 season, Gundy had to renegotiate his contract with Oklahoma State University. Although the specific contract terms are not available, it was reported that Gundy took a significant pay cut. Per USA Today, Gundy earned $7.75 million this year and was expected to make $7.875 million in 2025. But under the new agreement, he will receive a lesser salary. And according to reports, the cost savings is expected to be redistributed to the school's athletes. Next up is Brian Kelly and LSU. LSU's football coach, Brian Kelly, is going all in to support his school's NIL efforts. Brian Kelly and his wife announced a new initiative, the Kelly Family $1 Million Match Challenge. During the challenge, the Kelly family will match every dollar donated to the Tiger Athletic Foundation's AD Excellence Fund up to $1 million. The challenge will run from December 13th to February 2025. And lastly, we have Florida State. Mike Norvell at Florida State University restructured his contract. His restructured contract will include a one-time $4.5 million contribution that will launch the athletics department Vision of Excellence campaign. The campaign is a partnership with the Seminole Boosters and looks to immediately raise FSU athletics to new heights and provide the best resources to benefit college athletes across all sports. So, do you all think that this is a growing trend where we will see coaches donating significant amounts of money to their schools' NIL efforts, and where we'll see coaches' contracts being restructured to take some of the money that they were paying to them and funnel it back to the athletes in order to support the NIL efforts, and if the House settlement is approved, to support the new revenue sharing model that will be coming to college athletics? What do you guys think? Do you think this is a trend? Do you think this is a couple of one-off things? Or do you even think that this is what should be happening? The Players Era Festival is adding women's basketball. In November, the Players Era Festival made history as the first non-conference tournament that paid college athletes for their participation. The festival took place in Las Vegas from November 26th to November 30th. The festival featured 8 men's basketball teams: Houston, Alabama, Texas A&M, Creighton, Notre Dame, Oregon, Rutgers, and San Diego State. A total of $9 million was paid to participating players. The festival recently announced that it will be adding women's basketball in 2025. The women's tournament will be a 4-team round robin that will include UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, and Duke. Each team will receive $1 million in guaranteed NIL opportunities. Even if you just casually follow college football, I'm sure you've heard the name Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is having a moment. He recently won the Heisman Trophy. He was recently named the Associated Press's College Football Player of the Year. He won the Chuck Burtnock Award as the nation's top defensive player and the Blitnikoff Award as the nation's most outstanding receiver. He is the first player in history to earn any combination of offensive and defensive National Player of the Year honors. He is the first University of Colorado player to win the Blitnikoff Award. He also won the Lott Impact Trophy for the nation's top defensive player and the Paul Hornung Award for the nation's most versatile player. In addition to being recognized for his on-the-field achievements, he also recently landed a NIL deal with Adidas. He has joined Adidas as a part of the company's next generation roster, or next gen roster. To celebrate his new partnership, Adidas launched a line of limited edition apparel celebrating Hunter's outstanding 2024 season. Powerade recently added more players to its It Takes More to Get This Far NIL program. Powerade added UConn forward Alex Caravan, Arizona guard Caleb Love, and NC State guard Sanaya Rivers to their campaign. The campaign will launch in February 2025 and go through March Madness. Now let's get into some NIL news. LSU women's star basketball player Flau'jae Johnson has become the second player to enter a deal with Unrivaled. Unrivaled is the new professional women's basketball 3-on-3 league that was founded by WNBA stars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. The league is set to begin play on January 17, 2025. Johnson joins UConn star Paige Bueckers, as both of them will receive ownership equity in Unrivaled in a historic NIL deal. And Unrivaled will also incorporate some of Johnson's music into her involvement with the league, as she is a rap artist who is signed with Roc Nation. When NIL started, many believed that garnering NIL deals with local businesses would be a great option for college athletes. This is true for Illinois State women's basketball team, as Blow No Pizza Company is partnering with them to provide cash and in-kind gifts as part of a NIL deal. This is the first time that a local Bloomington Normal business has done a deal with the Illinois State team. As a part of the deal, the entire team will do a commercial shoot in CEFCU Arena promoting Blow No Pizza. This commercial will be played during the women's basketball games. They will also do a meet and greet at a special event for Blow No Pizza Company. Each player will post on their Instagram and advertise Blow No Pizza as well. So let this be a reminder to check with your local businesses as you're seeking NIL deals. So last episode, I talked about Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia and his major win against the NCAA, where the judge granted him a preliminary injunction to allow him to play football next season. So He has now announced that he will be returning to Vanderbilt next season, so that's great news for them as they can try to prepare to hopefully have similar success to what they had this season. But amongst his decision, there were many questions about what this would mean for college athletes, similarly situated college athletes moving forward, as the preliminary injunction only applied to Diego Pavia. So while the NCAA does plan to appeal the injunction, they have announced that there will be a waiver granted to similarly situated athletes. So the NCAA Division I Board of Directors granted a waiver to permit college athletes who attended and competed at a non-NCAA school for 1 or more years to remain eligible to compete in 25-26 if those athletes would have otherwise used their final season during competition in 24-25, and they must meet all other eligibility requirements. So even though the decision only applied to Diego Pavia, now with this waiver, it will apply to other similarly situated athletes. So this means that the door is now open for all former junior college and NAIA seniors to return for another season of college sports. As the college football season draws to a close, college football fans will be turning their eyes to the upcoming NFL draft to see where their favorite college football players will land in the NFL. When NIL began, many predicted that college athletes may stay in college longer instead of declaring for their professional leagues for their various sports because they now have opportunities to make money in college. And that has been true. We saw the trend last year. So the Associated Press reported that after the NCAA allowed athletes to profit from their NIL in the summer of 2001, 100 underclassmen entered the NFL draft, which was down from 128 the previous year. Then that number dropped down to 82, and then last year it was just down to 58, and that was the lowest number of draft entrants since 2011. So I'm going to be interested to see if that trend continues this year, if we'll continue to see maybe a decrease in the number of college athletes who declare for the NFL draft or decide to do an extra year in college and take advantage of the NIL opportunities, or if that was just a one-off for last year. So I'll be excited to see what happens with that. I hope that we'll continue to see more athletes decide to stay in college and take advantage of their NIL opportunities while also pursuing their degree. Now for a bit of HBCU college football news. As a 757 native, myself and someone with a lot of family who attended Norfolk State University, I wanted to take a second to congratulate Michael Vick on becoming the next head coach of Norfolk State University football program. Michael Vick is also a 757 native as he's from Newport News, Virginia. He attended Ward High School where he dominated in football and then went on to Virginia Tech to dominate there as well, becoming the number 1 draft pick in the 2001 NFL draft where he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. During his time in the NFL, he completely innovated the way that the quarterback position was played, holding the record for the most rushing yards by a quarterback, which he held up until probably about a week ago when the Baltimore Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson, broke his record. Vick's influence on the game and on the quarterback position is seen throughout the NFL through players like Lamar Jackson. I'm excited to see what Michael Vick is going to bring to the program at Norfolk State, and I wish him and the NSU Spartans the best of luck next season, except for doing the Labor Day Classic when they play my alma mater, Virginia State University. This will conclude today's episode. Thank you for watching. Please, if you would like, follow me on the various social media platforms that you see running down at the screen, and I'll see you next time.